Hey y'all, it's Alisha. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to week 1 of Alicia's Christmas collab, and I'm your host and I'm so excited. Folks, we have the most amazing lineup of makers. I cannot stress enough that this is a team like no other. We have Elisha, Lovelettergeneration. We have Kayla, Miss.Penpalmoma. We have Cruz. We have Jellybean, Junction. Sabrinakayecountrycrafter. Michelle, Craftymichelle. Oh yes, we do. Susan, Tootsie, Tucker. Cathy, Katzelcreate. Heather Manning. And Dina, Thismommaluvzdisney. So you're going to want to check out all their channels. I've listed them for you down below. Their projects are going to be super innovative because that's really key for this. We are trying to innovate things you've never seen before, beginning with week 1, and we are bringing you a Recipedex. Now, when you take a look at your girl's project, you're going to think, what is going on? There's a whole lot of everything. And even though I like a lot of crafty hoplop, this is even a whole lot of chaos for me. But I have to tell you guys a quick little story. When I was a young teenager, my dad lived with a serious heart condition, and he had to spend winters in a warm climate because otherwise he couldn't breathe in the cold. So my mom and dad would go from Toronto, Canada to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the entire winter. And I would go down and visit them on school break in December, and I would stay over the Christmas holidays, and then I would go back and see them again on my March break. Well, folks, my very first holiday in Florida, I tasted something at this local diner right near my parents' place that I had never had before. And I knew that was going to inspire my Recipedex. And that was key lime pie. And I had never had it. You know, in Canada, we didn't have it then at all. Now we have a place called President's Choice, which is owned by Loblaws, and they make a key lime pie. Nothing like key lime pie in the South, but they make it. So I had this key lime pie. Now, the one served at the diner was a bright neon green. I think now they dyed it that color because of the holiday season. But back then, I thought all key lime pie was neon green. And it was in this diner. And I think also today that the person who owned it was a crafter because there were these giant plastic candy canes everywhere. And she would tie, I think, these enormous green bows on them. And they were up on like every food station. And she had like little gingerbreads hanging everywhere. And then she had these sparkly white flowers. I don't know if she would get them at a dollar store or at a floor. I don't know where she got them, but they were everywhere. And it was just a whole lot of bling and a whole lot of shine and bright green pie. And actually, she'd stick a candy cane during the holidays in the middle of the key lime pie. And certainly mint and key lime don't really go. So that's what inspired my Recipedex this week. I wanted to take you back to a time when I had my first bite of that key lime pie. And I also made this with a certain subscriber in mind, which will explain some of the choices I made also. All right, y'all, I made this oversized Memdex, and we're going to talk about the little problem I'm having because I made this a little thick. All right, so what you can't see, even if I bring you real close, is that the first layer, that's not paper, folks. That's fabric. And I laid it down very carefully. It's got all these desserts on it, and it has this beige undertone which matches the pie crust and also the little gingerbread and the Merry Christmas. So that's baked goods in the back, that's fabric. And then on top of that, I layered one of those large iridescent-y snowflakes just to add a little texture. And then over that, I did find some of those white sparkly flowers, and I cut them up and I laid them down because boy does that make me think of that first time with the pie. And y'all know I don't have a die cutter here. So I had ordered dies for this Recipedex. I had ordered mixers and oh, you don't even want to know. But I don't have a die cutter. And I could have traced them, but I actually just decided to free draw and cut the pie, which I then turned into a little shaker because I really wanted it to reflect the dark green, light green, the crazy neon green of that pie. And so it's a little shaker made out of tulle, and I used chipboard to create the crust.
It's 3 o'clock.
And there's our man. And look, folks, back here, there wasn't any crust on the back, which I always thought was weird. It was like there was just graham cracker crust on the bottom and not on the sides. When I make it now, I have it on the sides too. And then she would put this enormous dollop of whipped cream. So that's what this is. And of course, I had to get some of these candy canes and put a little bow on it just like she did. So that is the front of my Recipedex. And on the back, because I was making this for a certain subscriber, I chose to go with a more vintage paper on the back with a little bit of this vintage lace, which I tied into a bow, and it has a little metallic threading through it. And I put a muted green gemmy, and then I built this little envelope out of coordinating paper, added some gemmies to it, and here's where you're going to run into trouble. If you're going to make something out of chipboard, because I made this out of chipboard, because you know I like things thicked up. Oh yeah, I made it out of chipboard. Well, folks, if you're going to lay your chipboard, fabric, tulle, and then 2 sheets of paper, there's a chance your dollar store hole puncher will not cut through it. And I didn't think about that. And in a rare moment, I didn't prototype it because I was confident. How many Memdexes have I made? 30, 40? I knew exactly what I was doing, and I knew what I had in mind to make. Except when I went to use that dollar store hole puncher, it would not go through the chipboard, fabric, and tulle. So I tried, actually, you can see I measured it out. I tried forcing it even, but I was scared it really would rip. So I'm going to have to wait till I get home this week where I have a crocodile. And that will go through this nice and easy. And I will punch the 2 sections in and trim it up so that I can send this off as an oversized Memdex. I know it's a whole lot going on, but this front represents that first bite of key lime pie, folks. It really does. This is what it looked like. It's what it felt like. I can almost smell it, actually. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is a memory encapsulated in a whole lot going on, because there was a whole lot going on in that diner. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to check out all of our talented collaborators. I've listed their channels down below, and we're going to bring you another innovation next week. Recipedex for week 1. Who knows what's coming for week 2, folks. See you then, and thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.